Hey everybody, this is Dee Dee Shirky, Dee Dee Real Estate Group, and I am so happy to present Miss Julie Hagstrom with Guild Mortgage. Say hi to everybody, Julie.
Hello.
And Julie and I have been working together for quite some time, and I wanted to interview her during this COVID season. We have been very fortunate to help a lot of our clients buy, sell, and purchase again. And it has not been easy. It hasn't been easy. And when COVID kind of was first rolling out, I didn't know anybody that had the COVID virus. And when you told me, it was just like, man, that's right around the corner. It's in my backyard. And I just want you to talk about your experience dealing with COVID as a lender and as somebody who has experienced this virus firsthand.
Yeah, it was, I had no idea I had COVID. I have seasonal allergies. I'm allergic to everything in the spring.
Yeah.
I just thought I was having my normal allergy season.
Yeah.
It just was lasting a really long time. And after all of the, everything that happens with allergies, it eventually just got to where I felt really tired. That was one of my clues. And I had a low-grade fever, but I thought maybe I had a reaction. If you're plugged up enough, you get a little fever.
Right.
Oh, maybe I just need to go to the doctor and get it checked out. Well, so I kept going along. This is really long, seems like forever. And when I just felt like I just could go to bed and not do anything, that's when I knew there was a problem, because I'm the 0 to 100. And when I don't want to do anything and I don't get in my house, you know that there's a problem with Julie. And so a day after I started feeling that way, it was about 3 days it felt that way. And then I had a board meeting for one of my groups I belonged to, and I found out somebody in my group had been diagnosed, and I had seen that person a little over a week before. I was kind of right in her face. I don't know if I got it from there. I'd also flown. And so I didn't even know where I caught it, but I decided to go into Indigo in Covington, and they took a look at me. I walked in, here I am with my little masky thing on, and I said, okay, I have a fever, I have a cough, and my cough is deep, and I'm exhausted, and I know somebody that I've been in contact with that has this.
Yep.
She just called the manager because I was her first one in Covington. This was back on March 11th.
Wow. So
then they both took me around the building to this little room, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just a horrible person to be around.
Right.
So they put me in there, and they did a chest x-ray, and they found that I had some pneumonia in my right lung, and I've never had pneumonia, never. And it was weird looking pneumonia. It wasn't normal looking. It does look different with COVID. And so they took that x-ray, and she tested me for the regular flu and all of that, and she tested me for COVID, but you don't always know right away. She said, your pneumonia doesn't look normal. It looked like a bunch of cauliflower, which is kind of what COVID looks like. So she had called somebody, which was weird to have her call. And so she said, I want you to go home, take all these antibiotics, and I don't want you to leave the house, and nobody in your family can leave the house. Because this was before we were even isolated from each other.
Wow.
And so I went home. I did exactly what the doctor said. That was easy because I was exhausted. And luckily I have 2 people on my team, and they helped my business because we were just really busy.
Yep.
And so I handled the business, and I waited until Friday. So Wednesday I went to the doctor. Friday I got a call about 5:30 in the afternoon from the University of Washington, and they said, you've been diagnosed and confirmed COVID. And I went, oh, okay, now what do I do? What should I do? And he said, I don't want anybody to leave your house for, first they said just 7 days or 3 days after you don't have a fever. And, I kept hearing 2 weeks. Everybody kept saying 2 weeks. And so we did the 2-week thing, and I actually stayed home longer, but my son stayed home from work, and I paid for him to go to the doctor to see if he had it, and they wouldn't test him because he had no symptoms. That's a common thing here. So, I did have it. I didn't feel like I was really, really sick. I mean, I was sick, but I didn't think I was sick, but I guess sick enough to have it. And it took me at least 3 to 4 weeks before I felt somewhat like myself. I sat in my recliner and I worked, which was kind of fun. Had my feet up, had my little computer and doing my lending stuff.
Yeah.
And it was scary because I called everybody I had been in contact with to say, hey, I just found this out. You need to be aware that I was with you and I was probably contagious.
Right.
So, yeah, I think the ironic thing was that same day I went to the doctor, I had called in that number that they say, call the number, talk to the nurse on the phone. And I did that. And the nurse said, oh, you don't have it. She said to me, if you can sit in a chair and breathe, that's how new it was. You don't have it.
Right. So, and nobody really knew how to diagnose it.
Nobody knew how to diagnose it. They didn't know that it could be that mild, and I didn't get that loss of taste until later on. It was after I had been on antibiotics for 2 or 3 days, then I lost my sense of taste.
So that's a thing.
That is a thing. And food tasted horrible. I actually, to a degree, wanted that to last longer. So I lost a little weight, but some people I've talked to, they still don't have their taste buds back yet. I know a gal that's still a month out and didn't return. Mine did come back. They were only gone like 4 or 5 days. But I did what the doctor says. I got healed up. They don't retest you to find out if
still
have it, So I just don't have any symptoms, and I'm not coughing, and I'm just being very careful that I'm not out with a whole bunch of people and just staying home or going to the office and coming back home.
So did anyone else in your family get it?
They didn't. Well,
that we know of.
Yeah, I know of. Actually, 3 of my kids were tested. I had my son, I went the week before I found out to Yakima to see my son, his daughter, and granddaughter. And I was feeling sick at that time and had a fever from allergies. And they were tested, but they were not positive, all 3 of them. But that took them over a week and a half to get their test results back. And then my daughter, who was around me, also got tested, but she did not get it. But they're all in their, 30 or below, they're younger.
Okay.
So, and my husband never got it, but he never got tested because they won't test you if you don't have a symptom.
Right.
See, and yeah, I think there's a lot of people who have it and they just don't know they have it.
Yeah, so I have a very close friend of mine who just sent me a text message saying that she has it and she got it from her husband and he has no symptoms. So, I know that we're still trying to figure out how you can catch this thing, but it's not the people that have the symptoms that we're worried about. It's the people that don't have the symptoms and can be passing it on, and you just won't know.
Yeah.
How has it impacted your business? Do you look at your business differently? I mean, so for us as agents, there are things that we have to do and we should be doing, right? So one of the things like gloves and masks, to me, that just makes sense. And the mask is not about you possibly giving it to me. I could be asymptomatic and not know it. And we'd be in close proximities and I affect you and your family and the people that you work with. So I make sure that I protect my clients and my family and my people around me. And now we're doing virtual listing appointments, and that's been interesting, but it's also been fun. And it makes a lot of sense too, and even our buyers. So how has it affected the way that you do business?
Well, it allowed me to have a chance to stop my life, which was crazy, absolutely nuts, 24/7. And I work from home 4 days, maybe 4 out of the 5 days or 3 out of the 2 days where I was working in the office constantly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that it let me have a new start on life to see what I wanted to be home for dinner, like once in a while, because I never made it. So it made me appreciate family and forget this, I knew they were important, but I was just so driven to do the best for the clients that sometimes I put out, So I adjusted that. That doesn't mean I don't get as much done. So I know what I'm going to say, having a little moment.
let me ask you this.
I do virtual meetings. I do not meet my customers at all. I do Zoom meetings or I do it over the phone. And we do everything over the phone or through the Zoom meetings because I don't be in contact with them. And the only person I think they ever really see is a notary when they go sign their loan documents. But the rest of them, they're not dealing with a human being. It's all online.
Yeah. As we move out of this, when we move out of this COVID season, you know, we're talking, you know, the normal is not going to be norm as we knew it to be, right? What do you think that looks like for the Hagstrom team? What are some things that you have that you're going to adopt moving forward that you're going to keep even as we move out of this COVID season?
Yeah. I think we're going to do more little Zoom meetings or just more virtual because I think we live so far away from each other in this area. To get to an appointment is sometimes hard.
Yeah.
I will do some face-to-faces, but particularly for people that don't like to do the computer. But I think for, you know, the younger generation, they're going to want the Zoom calls. I know what it's like to be a mom with 4 kids and working and stuff. To be able to go on a computer is a lot easier than to drive somewhere for an hour, have the appointment and drive home. So I think conveniently using the computer more and the cool tools that they have now is going to be important. Yeah. We also have e-signing now for some of our customers that you don't have to go sign with the notary except just like 4 pages of something. So it limits your time with the notary.
Yeah.
So
do you feel like you are giving less of a customer service or customer touch with this Zoom? Because I thought before we were doing COVID, you know, I really needed to be face to face and shake everyone's hand and, you know, sit, you know, 3 to 4 feet away from them. And I'm finding that it wasn't true. I can actually give the same amount of service. People can still know that I am an advocate for them, whether they're buying or selling. And it can be done all through recording and all through a Zoom conference. Do you feel like you're giving less customer service or attention because you're not meeting them face to face?
No, I don't, because I still spend the same amount of time. I still do the same presentation that I would do in person. And I wait to make sure that they understand the steps that we're going through.
Yeah.
And like, I haven't noticed a difference with the customers. I think they're okay. I mean, my surveys are still coming back that they appreciate, because I've closed now some people that did the Zoom call. I've never met them in person now.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. For some people, you know, older, you know, my parents' generation, they want to meet in person. You know, this stuff drives them crazy. But my generation and lower, I think a lot of us are okay with it.
Yeah.
And on occasion, there's no reason why I wouldn't do it in person.
Yeah.
That's what I would prefer. But for right now, we just have to be safe.
Yeah. So what are you telling your clients? How are you telling them to be safe? What are you telling the world? I know that you were on King 5. I mean, you're kind of a big deal right now.
Yeah, big deal. Yeah.
What is your encouragement to the people that know you, like you, trust you, and will do business with you? What are you telling them in this COVID season? And are people still buying and selling homes?
Yes. Okay. I am telling them that if you have any symptoms, if you have a runny nose and you have any sort of fever, or you have no taste for food, or you're just exhausted, maybe you should consider taking some time off to get rest, because it might be more than you think. It doesn't come on, it can be very subtle. And to get tested is probably going to be impossible. You know, they can't test everybody. So just take it. So I took it seriously, but I just kept telling myself it really wasn't anything, probably trying to talk me out of the fact I really wasn't sick like you do. Mm-hmm. So if you're a pusher through like me, maybe you should take a little time off and see if you feel better. If you still don't feel better, then maybe you need to call the doctor and find out. And then isolate yourself so that you're not around people, and wear a mask when you go places. Yeah. And cough in your arm, that's big. Don't cough in your hand.
Right.
Cough, we tend to cough in our hands, and then that really, and I think that's what saved it. I got into that habit of coughing into my arm, and so my hands they didn't have, you know what I mean? Okay. So yeah. Mm-hmm. For business, I tell all my customers that are looking for homes, Now is the time. If you are a first-time home buyer and you're looking for a home, you need to get out there now, because unfortunately there are people who are not working. They're on unemployment or they're on furlough. Those clients, you can't buy a house while you're in that mode. The people that I want to say, they're lucky. We're lucky to have a job. I've worked this whole time. It hasn't been rest for me.
No.
Poor people that are struggling, don't have enough work, and then there's those of us who are working, and we're working a lot.
A lot.
A
Julie,
lot.
again.
Yeah. And I just tell them, go, because you're going to have the upper hand on this, because there are, I don't know how many of us are not being able to look for a home. So the opportunity's there. There's less inventory, but there's less buyers.
There are.
And if you're kind of in that tough bracket where you think, oh, I don't want to be in a competition of 10 people, this is the time.
Right.
And do sell fast, don't they? I mean, I'm not, because there's people still looking.
You and I have not slowed down, Julie.
No, I've been the busiest I've ever been right now for the last 3 months.
Yeah, we have not slowed down, and it's a great thing. And I think also, I think there's also a misconception that the people that are selling their houses have to sell their house because of COVID or because they've lost their job. You know, if we can help people save their houses while they're in them because they don't want to sell, we are also here to help. We want to be a resource for the people that, hey, I'm not ready to let this thing go, and we can give some guidance, direction, and some resources. There are others that have lived in their houses for a substantial amount of time, and even in COVID have substantial amount of equity. So even during this COVID dip, they're actually buying, they are profitable, and they're moving into their next home or their forever home or the next home that they want, because they have the asset, they have the equity, and they can move into something that they want. And that's what I actually found with my last seller. She'd been in her home for 5 years. She was able to cash in a substantial amount of money and put a substantial amount down on her next home. And her mortgage was lateral, but her house wasn't. She's in a position to get what she wants. And so, you know, I think that whatever season, you know, we're in, and right now we're in the COVID season, people are still buying and selling. And they need, now more than ever, they need exceptional lenders and they need exceptional real estate agents. And I will tell you, people that they can trust and know that they can get it done. I want to talk a little bit before we leave about what's happening in the lending world. So there are some lenders that are not doing so well.
Yes, a lot of them.
Okay, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about that. What's happening in this lending world?
Well, there's different types of lenders, and, you know, there's the big guns, you know, that have like banks attached to them, and, you know, they're more secure than the smaller lenders that go out. We are what they call a non-depository lender, so we actually service a lot of our loans, so the payments are made to Guild. The companies that are not so solvent are the ones that don't have a servicing portfolio. All they have is what they sell for the time, and so there's just quite a few companies that are struggling because how they price their loans is very different. Each company has a way they price their loans and pay for the loans, and have reputations that they having to pay more for the price of that loan than others because of their reputation. And so each lender is not treated equal. And I'm very fortunate I landed here because I know that we're secure and we're going to be there till the end. But there are going to be smaller lenders that just aren't going to make it through this, or it's going to be really tight for them.
Yeah.
You know, we saw that happen in 08, 09, in 2010 when that happened. And it's grueling because the investors who buy the mortgage loans, there's, you know, part of them are a little scared. They're like hanging on they don't want to take a big loss.
Right.
And people are doing the forbearances. And I just want you to know that if you have to miss a payment, if you can't make a house payment, if you truly can't make it, then that's what forbearance is for. If you're choosing to not make it, but you have the money, there's going to come a time where you have to pay the money back, and it might be all in one fell swoop 3 months later. So only use the programs that are out there if you need it, not just because somebody said, oh, you don't have to make a payment for 3 months, because you do have to pay the money back. And depending upon your income level, you may pay it back right away, and that could cause problems for you later. They don't talk about that in the news.
Yeah.
And you need to know, you know, people call me and I say, can you make the payment? Well, yes. And I says, then you should make it.
Okay.
And yeah, don't take the money and put it in savings.
Right.
And if you can make it, make the payment, because 3 months of house payments all in one fell swoop is a lot of money.
Right.
So, and it's there for those people that are struggling to make it. That's what it was there for.
Yeah. And so let's talk about the down payment assistance program that is available. A, is it still available? B, are all lenders do all lenders have access to it? And are they using it? Do they have access for their clients?
There was a little short time that Washington State Housing, which is where our down payment assistance loans come from, it was a couple of weeks where they kind of phased the program out for a little bit. Hardly any lenders were using it. And then I know our company did a private contract because we do a lot of these loans, and we came to an agreement with the down payment assistance program as to when to sell them back. And so I know we are doing them now. There are quite a few bigger lenders that are not doing them because they don't want to take the risk of purchasing a house and then next month somebody goes into forbearance when they move in. And that's happening. People are buying and then they're not making their house payment, and it's affecting the market. And so that's why if you can make the payment, make the payment. Don't do it just because, oh, I can skip it.
Got it.
It'll affect all of us.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we're still doing, in fact, that's my program I'm doing the most of.
Okay.
Because so many lenders that don't have it right now. We can do both conventional and FHA.
Okay. Awesome. Julie, if people need you as a resource, you are definitely one of my go-tos. We do a lot of business, and the Hagstrom team takes exceptional care of my clients. We have not lost a client. We have not lost a contract. And those are the things that I look for. So tell me and tell everyone where they can reach you if they have any questions, even about being furloughed or refi or equity line of credit, all of that. Where can we reach you?
So you can reach me. I have a cell phone. Texting is good because I get a lot of phone calls, but my cell phone is 206-419-2600. And you can find me online for Julie Hagstrom, Hag and then Strom. You can look me up, and I'm in the Federal Way office. If you text me, I'll get back with, please tell me your name, and then I'll get back. On Mother's Day, I don't think I might not answer my call. So I might take Mother's Day off.
You will receive an email, phone call, or a text response on Monday.
I might answer it in the evening when I'm on adult, but today I'm going to be with my mom. So, but yes, so you can do that, and you can find me online. I have a website, and just look up Federal Way Guild Mortgage, and you'll find me with my team.
Awesome. And for you out there, if you know somebody that needs to bounce some real estate ideas, make sure you give me a call here, 206-356-8041. I am going to be in the office tomorrow. Text is also good. And I too will not be working on Mother's Day because I am a mom and I am not quite sure what is going to be happening on Monday. And it's probably going to be a lot of nothing. And I am A-okay with that. So thank you so much, Julie. And we hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dee.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.